Today I wanted to talk about the disadvantages of having dual motors on RC cars. They are sold as buggies or rock crawlers, and if you decide to use these buggies outdoors in water, mud or sand, it's becoming actually a problem, so I wanted to mention that. I wanted to show you which are better alternatives for those kind of rides. For example, I have here another car which has a different setup. It has a transmission box and one electrical motor with shafts going to the rear and front wheels. This setup is better because you don't have electrical motors too close to the ground, so when you drive in water and mud, there are less chances that it gets bad or that you'll have to maintain it more frequently. For this car, if you look at how much distance you have from the ground to the electrical motor, you will see that there's not much space. So once you get into water, water gets into the electrical motor. In both cases you have to maintain the cars if you like driving in mud and water. It's definitely a lot of fun to do so, but it's also a lot of work after the ride. You have to clean the electrical motors, clean the cases if those electrical motors are inside of the plastic cases, like in this case for example. And this setup is now very comfortable to work with because each time you have to disassemble the covers and clean the electrical motors and dry them. Look at how much dirt I have here, and water always gets in. After you play with this toys in water or mud and you don't have time to clean it all, in a few days the electrical motors may get stuck, so they are difficult to maintain in this setup. This setup is easier to maintain. You have access to electrical motor. You can directly spray some lubricants inside of the electrical motor, make it work for some time and make sure that water comes out. And for this setup, you can't really get inside of the electrical motor before you remove the cap, and so you'll have to remove the cap and put some lubricant into the holes of the electrical motor and make sure the water goes out. And the most perfect way to maintain the car would be also to dry everything with a hair dryer or something. So I would go for models which have transmission boxes with shafts like in real life world, and not for the dual electrical motors on each axis, because that causes a lot of maintenance problems.